Hey guys, yeah, I got about 15 minutes or so, 16 to 15 minutes before I clock in. And no, my bus did not drop me off. Instead, it was my mom. My mom has to go into the, go to the DMV. Sorry about that. But like I said, my mom has to go to the DMV here in Turlock because apparently, even though it took us a bit, we finally got into the DMV website, right? To register, to get her an account because she has to renew her license this year. She has to, well, not typically renew her license, but basically take what's known as a knowledge test. In other words, show that she still knows how to drive. She knows all the ins and outs of driving. And she does understand that some things have probably changed, and she's really going to have to buckle down when it comes to that. So she went to the DMV here in Turlock because for some odd reason in our area, we couldn't get no signal. Neither one of us. Neither one of us could get a signal off of our phone. Neither one of us. But as soon as we got out of Newman, more into Crow's Landing, and then taking the Crow's Landing turn to, turn off a side road, if you will, to go to Carpenter Road to get here, the signal started to pick up. Yes, it was a little gone for a bit, like it was no signal, but then it picked back up. And I don't know if it's maybe because there's a lot of signals going off in Newman, or the outage because they said basically there's an outage in the Central Valley affecting a lot of places like Los Banos and Sacramento. And Los Banos is closest to us than Sacramento, so it's obvious that we were being affected. But as soon as we got out of that area and more into open space, we were fine. So I don't know, what was going on. I don't know if you guys have dealt with that today or this weekend, because it affected mostly T-Mobile and Verizon customers, or customers that are using services owned and under the roof, if you will, of T-Mobile and Verizon. Like me, I got Straight Talk. And so basically a lot of that, customers were affected in some capacity, but we don't know exactly what the outage was. Was it maintenance? Was it a down power? Was it a power cable or tower, I should say, a cellular tower that, burnt out? We don't know. Could it have something to do with Russia and Ukraine? We don't know. But yeah, she ended up taking me because she had to go to the Turlock DMV to get not one but two, as she puts it, physical applications to fill out so she can, do her knowledge test and renew her license. Because of course, if you don't pass the knowledge test on a few occasions, because they do give you multiple opportunities, she's not going to have any way to work, because she starts work next week. Anyway, like I said, when we got closer to Turlock and we were more in the open, that's when things kind of picked up. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it'll be fixed by the time we get home, or she gets home by the time I get home later, but we'll see. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about something else. So let's talk about that. So anyway, though, like I said, that's not what I'm here to talk about. Yesterday, I went and finally, as you probably saw this morning and even yesterday, I uploaded a couple of new matches, a couple of my DCWA season preview matches. And, well, for a while, I couldn't really create any more characters. I didn't know what was going on. So I ended up constantly downloading some new characters here and there, but I couldn't figure out, like I said, what was going on or anything. I couldn't figure out what was happening. And, long story short, not about that, but like I said, long story short, what I ended up doing is I ended up taking a suggestion that somebody made that I saw somebody make a couple of weeks ago, and it's something that I kind of did similarly with, I think it was 19, not 19, but 18, 2K18. So what I did, and I was kind of reluctant of it at first, because I wanted to make sure, nothing would be lost, like no save files or anything like that. Thankfully, none of that was lost. But I basically took this advice this one person gave some other people that were having a similar problem. Where they couldn't create anymore. The loading for the creation of just one character was taking way too long. And like I said, because of that, I constantly was downloading new characters, which I don't have a problem with because it makes my roster a little bit more, different from the last. But anyway, to get to the point, the guy a couple weeks ago made the suggestion of deleting the game application. In other words, not the files that have already been created and saved. No. He was talking about delete the game, uninstall, the game. Uninstall it, and then reinstall it, let it fully install, once again, or fully restall once again, and you should be good to go. And at first I was kind of reluctant about that, like I said, because I wasn't sure what would happen, but I looked it up once again to make sure, if everything would be fine, and most of the answer was yes. I think even the PlayStation website, Sony's PlayStation website, gave an answer of yes, everything would be okay. So what I did is I decided, okay, I'm going to uninstall the game. At first I thought, okay, let me uninstall Madden. Let me uninstall Madden 25, which I can always put back, and uninstall 2K19 because I have the files there. So that's what I did. And then, when that didn't work, it looked like it was working a little bit, but then it got stuck again. So what I ended up doing is uninstalling 2K22, not the files, like I said, not the game files, but just the game itself. And then I reinstalled it. And surprisingly, it worked because one of the characters you saw make her return, one of the CAW characters you saw make her return was Keyframe, and I wanted to create her for a while, and I finally was able to do that, and now Keyframe is now on the roster. But it took me, and his thing, it shouldn't take me or anybody else this kind of trouble to have to create a character or create anything. We shouldn't have to uninstall and reinstall our game. Even if we keep our files safe and everything, we shouldn't have to uninstall and reinstall our game just to create a character, just to play My Rise, just to do any of that, because of the fact that 2K didn't decide to look over that twice. That is one issue. Look, the game is great. Don't get me wrong. I've praised the game already. It is great. I love it. People like JD from NY206, Solomon, they love the game too, no matter what version they have. But to me, this is something that should not be an issue. It should not be an issue for the PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Xbox One S, the Xbox Series S, the Series X, Nintendo Switch, Steam. It should not be an issue for any of that. It shouldn't be an issue. You should be able to install the game, install the DLC packs, and all that, and you should be good to go. You shouldn't have to worry about, I can't do this, I can't do that. Because what was funny is you had all the other creative features all set and ready to go. You had all the other creative features fine and set and ready to go. Create an entrance, create a Videotron, create, a championship, create a, create an arena. You had that all perfectly fine. Except when it came to create a wrestler, men or women, male or female, it wasn't working. And that is not supposed to be an issue. 2K19 didn't even have that issue. Not that I remember. But, it shouldn't be an issue. And that's the one thing about rushing games out. Even JD, when he was talking about, 2K23 coming out in, next year, possibly around the same time this one did, in time for WrestleMania, Even he looked at the fact that you shouldn't have to rush this out. You should take your time with it. Because even he, even though he plays it himself, he could see that there are issues that need to be addressed and looked at. And one of those issues, in my opinion, is not having to uninstall and reinstall your game just because it won't create. Or just because when you, installed one of the updates, just because, when you did that, it caused a glitch. And that glitch was taking too long to create a wrestler. It shouldn't be that complicated. It shouldn't be that complicated at all. But thankfully it's working now. But it does seem like the best solution, unfortunately, is to uninstall your game and reinstall it if you have this situation happen again. And if I have to do that on numerous occasions, then so be it. But what I may end up doing, and this is just my opinion, this is the last thing I'll say before I go and clock in. If I'm going to do anything, eventually, it's probably download a digital copy of it, so that way I won't have to deal with this ever again. Because I think the digital sometimes helps out more than the physical. But we'll see. Hopefully I won't have to do this again. Hopefully, with the last update we got, this is an issue we won't have to deal with. And until next time, and I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know about that. But yes, if there's no more issues, there will be more new created characters coming, hopefully. So be on the lookout. So be on the lookout for that. But until next time, guys, I got to get into work, and I will talk to you later. But give me your thoughts on this. Let me know if you've had to deal with it, in this kind of situation. And I'll talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care. I am out. Peace.